Hello, beautiful kindred souls, and welcome to my crafting corner. It is Kendra Key here with another project. So we are moving into the season of autumn or fall, and so I'm going to be actually returning to a couple of projects that I started a couple of years ago. This one I even finished it and then decided to sort of reimagine it. So I'm going to actually complete it this year, both of these projects. One of them is a hardcover. So this one's a hardcover. It's a 3 signature. And it's a really quite lovely journal. This is paper bag that I painted. I think that turned out so good. It literally looks like a pile of leaves. It just brings me so much joy. And we're going to be pulling together a handful of components for these 2 projects. This one is less finished. So this one is pretty much, the signature is pretty much, and by pretty much I mean it's done. And I'll do a full flip through at the end of the month for both of these projects. They have a fall autumn theme. This one we're going to be spending a lot of time in, really just finishing it off, completing it, and completing the signature. And then I pulled together 2 traveler's notebook sized inserts, or I guess little journals or signatures that will go in the front of each one. And because I love the staggering, so those will be added in. I just pulled these together off camera. And they're just really simple writing signatures with a couple of specialty pages and graphics from my digital autumn digital kit. Okay. So yeah. So a couple of years ago, I started a million autumn projects. I was painting paper with the autumn colors. It was going out of style, and I started a whole bunch of projects and didn't really finish them. So last year I pulled forward this project and finished it off. The signature is very, very detailed, very decorated. I did a lot of custom type of stuff. So scrap strips, and I touched every single page. There's a full flip through on my channel for this project, I think. I will link that down below. If there's not one, I will make one. Pretty sure there is one. And this one's actually for sale right now on Etsy. So if you're interested, go check it out. But yeah, this is a single signature project with this very, very full signature and tons of ephemera and other things. And then we also have these inserts that I created last year for that project. So this year, I'm gonna make one insert on camera, and I actually already made an insert. So I'm gonna actually try something new with the second one. I already made an insert off camera just to experiment. So I'll be making another insert for this project with the paper that you see back here. But it's just a little ephemera holder that, a little tucks by here, pocket. This is also a pocket on this side. And it's just using some of that painted paper bag. I think they turned out so beautiful. They're so visually textured, and I love. Okay. This is a digital paper from my autumn kit that I will be using today for the second insert. Okay. And I'll also be putting some ephemera pieces that I backed and cut off camera too in these projects as well. So I'm really excited to work on these projects, to sort of finish them up and showcase them at the end of the month. So if this all sounds good to you, please do consider joining me by subscribing to my channel, clicking like on this video to support and to help me and my little channel grow. I appreciate you. Okay. So I have been thinking about some things already because I didn't want to get on here and be like, ugh. So I am going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm going to mount this. And I already kind of scuffed it up a little bit. Apparently my printer, I know I did just change my red ink in my printer, but the reds and the oranges are absolutely popping, okay? So I had to do a little bit of, take the scouring pad to this digital to tone down the colors a little bit and to make it look a little distressed. Because it was absolutely singing, which I love that. You know, my printer's doing her job and I appreciate her. But I do want this to be a little bit more rustic because some of the the other papers used in this digital are a bit more rustic. So, all right, that's mounted down nicely. All right, so what am I doing? So the thought is that this is going to be a flip on this side. And this is going to fold over and be a tuck spot. And I'm definitely going to have to trim this edge because it's very raggedy and not straight. We're going to be making some pockets with this chunk down here. And this piece is just going to be removed. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove. And when I get to the end, I'm going to leave a little bit above for a tab. I'm just going to leave more than I need and I'll cut off what I don't need. There. Okay. So I'm going to keep this because that'll come in handy for something else in the future. I'm actually gonna, this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm gonna keep this little, because this is gonna be a little tab for our pocket below. This is not glued down, so we're just gonna add a little bit of something there. There we go. Could have left a little bit more, but it's fine. It'll be sufficient. And then I'm also just gonna cut this little tiny niblet off as well over here. Now, in an ideal world, I would let this dry, but we're obviously on camera, so I'm just gonna power through it a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't do anything we don't want. All right, so this side, we're actually going to fold it so that we get as much as we can get. And it's hard to kind of tell straightness, honestly, with this project, so I don't know, really. Yeah, because I am gonna need to like remove some of this. So let me see. There we go. Let's see how straight I can get this to be. Let me see. I'll bear in mind I don't know. Okay, let's see. Get out the serious ruler. Ruler means business. Okay. Well, let me know down in the comments what you guys are working on. Where I live, and I actually don't know if I said this already, so apologies if I'm repeating myself. We get all 4 seasons. And so I am thoroughly looking forward to seeing the changing seasons and the trees and having the weather change, cooling off a little bit from summer. All right, so I do want to be able to stack some of these here. So I do need to make sure that I'm allotting enough space in this flip. Okay. All right, okay, that was a little crooked. I don't know if I'll be able to get it straighter. Yeah, this is a flip, so, and then I'm gonna have a pocket that's gonna be down here that we're gonna make out of this piece. But we're also gonna have a pocket for the adjacent piece as well. But I need to be able to measure out my, excuse me, should I do the 5.5 or should I do 5 1/4? You're right, it's not a huge difference, but there is a difference, a little bit of a difference. I think I'm gonna do 5 1/4 for this one. Let me measure it up here. And really, that is to just give the other side a little bit more breathing room. You know? Okay. Like I said, straight is totally a relative term in this project's case. I don't know how. It looks straight-esque. Ish-ish, you know what I mean? All right, so that's what's gonna happen. So we're gonna have a pocket that's gonna fold up to this piece, and we're gonna also have a pocket to fold up to the middle component. And I am going to, let's see, we're gonna split the difference here. So we're just gonna cut this way, and then we're gonna snippets, I don't know, a little bit that direction, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so, and a little bit in this direction. And then use that tiny little sniblet, because that's really all you need to create a little tab there. Okay. And then that'll fold up and be a nice little pocket. And remember, we left a little niblet on this side as well. So we'll have a little tab on this edge as well. Okay, all right, this is taking deep concentration. Okay. This, and then there'll be a tiny little tab on this side. And the reason why we're also snipping away is because it will help relieve the pressure on the joint as well. And we are gonna need to snip at an angle here so it doesn't get jammed up. We'll need to do the same for this little bit as well. And then out here, I already did that. And then we're gonna need a tab on this side. So since we've made a tuck on this side, I think I'm gonna pull this in just a little bit more, I think. I need to pull it. I think I actually got it pretty straight, so now I gotta pull it in a little bit everywhere. Okay, and then we can leave a little bit extra not so tight there. And we're gonna snip in at our angle. And we're gonna get that out of there. And then this piece, we're gonna need a little bit for a tab. And we're gonna cut this part off. I think this is what I need. Okay. So this is just gonna fold in. Of course, we're gonna have to snip our little corners. Trying to keep this in camera while I'm working. I only need one of these, so I think we can snip at this one. We'll cut the angle off. Okay. And so if everything works out the way we would want it to, right, that's gonna curl in. We're gonna glue that down. Oh, I was a little aggressive on this side with that tab. So let's see what we actually want it to be. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, yeah, that's good. Right there, exactly there, right there. Don't move, which of course it is going to, because I asked you not to. All right, so it's gonna be our tuck on this side. I don't really know if I got this or not. Okay, we are gonna need to snip this a little bit. Okay, I can't see it. Okay. Okay, so then that's gonna curl up and be our pocket. Again, like, this drying would be ideal. Something's sticking to me. Okay, just park that over there. And we actually probably should have cut in a little bit more on this side, similar to how we did here, to relieve the pressure on that crease. Okay. Again, we gotta get that angle back in there. All right, now this is what it'll be. Right there, and then we're gonna have a pocket here. You know what's weird is that the color of this paper, yes, it reminds me of fall, but it also reminds me of Jurassic Park. And that totally could be because I just watched like the entire Jurassic Park, all the movies. I know this has nothing to do with the season of fall, but I feel like it's an annual watch. So I watched Jurassic Park, the Lost City, no, what is it called? The Lost City Jurassic Park, or The Lost World or something, I don't remember. The second one in the original trilogy, and Jurassic Park 3. Yes, I watched them all. So enjoyable. But this paper just reminded me of that series, oddly. Okay, anyway, back to the original scheduled program. So we got some relief on our joints. We pulled this in as well, so we got some relief on that joint. So this is how it's going to look. You know, so it's gonna be like this. I'm gonna add some pockets here. And it's gonna open up. We'll have a pocket. I'll probably put something on the fronts of these. And then we have our little tuck spot, so tuck spot on that side. Very cool. And it's a little bit different than the other one, so I want to try something a little different. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and glue our pieces. Before I do that, I'm gonna ink. I'm using, what am I using? Distress Oxide Spiced Marmalade. This is the Tim Holtz Ranger collection. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of ink action around the edges. I just feel like it just creates a nice little finished frame look to it. And helps to relieve the perfection of crafting, which doesn't exist, of course, which is what makes it so awesome, is that, you know, even mistakes can be embraced and it not snip this. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Both sides. All right, we're gonna use that later, so it's not gonna go too far. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue on our little tabs. Yeah, this is a more ideal tab, having it be like 1/4 of an inch, 3/8, something like that. I almost forgot about you. I know. Okay. Let's take that chunk of glue off there so I can see what I'm doing. All right. Let's glue our little pockets down. Try to catch any oozers. And here. These look great. I had so much fun pulling together the digitals for autumn. Like, it's just the colors are so vivid and so bright, and it just had so much fun. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. So of course, a strong encouragement for you to at least pop out to Etsy and check them out. I'm going to be releasing you know, little add-ons and stuff as we go through the month for autumn to help make that kit really usable for you for this season. I just want to make sure that we're not getting too stuck. It's gonna probably get a little stuck, but that's okay. We don't want it to be too stuck, and we want to keep aligned with our little creases, okay? All right, there we go. So now, pressing on, we're gonna add our pockets. So I feel like we already have decent sized pockets in here. So I think it's gonna be a matter of big pockets or bigger pockets. So let's see. What do I want out here? Do I want a nice square? Maybe a square and something else. Or two squares. Oh, the color is too close. Maybe these are side loaded, or maybe this one's side loaded. Excuse me, side loaded. Let's see. These are cards from my little autumn collection. Let's see what I want to use. I feel like either her or her and the babies. I want her and the babies. Maybe. And then the top of this tree, maybe. Part of me wants it to be side-loaded. Part of me wants it to be top-loaded. You know what? We have a lot of top-loaded things already. So I think we're going to do side-loaded just to make it a little different. And to note, like, I would make it side-loaded from this direction so that if you put something in there, a card, a tag, or something like that, you can add some fibers and stuff like that, which will hang out the side and look probably really nice. I am going to cut a little dip in so that we know that it's side-loaded. I'm going to do it to this one as well. Okay. Let's see. Is that centered? Kind of. Mostly. Probably should have just lined it up with this one. Oh, I got pretty close. Okay. I do like to pick up after myself as I go along so my work area doesn't get too wild. All right, I think we're just gonna glue these little dudes down. Side tucks. I like it. Just on 3 sides. Okay. Move that over just a smidge. A smidge. Another smidge. Okay. Alrighty. There we go. Just keep pressing until the glue gets a bit tacky. All right, and then our second one, again, only on 3 sides. Want it about the same distance from the top, side, and the bottom. Okay, and again, I'm gonna keep pressing over those edges until our glue gets a little tacky and our piece stops moving about the cabin. You know what I mean? Okay. There we go. I like it. Very sweet. All right, we open it up. We have these pieces. Now, this pocket isn't big enough to hold one of our squares. I could put one of these dudes down, just trim it a little bit. I know I want one over here. Any of these would work. This is intended to be a vertical. So, oh, we can do a little vertical. This is the colors are so close that And this is a vertical. Maybe we could make a little belly band out of this though. Maybe we can trim this down a little bit, make it a pocket. Or it doesn't have to be this one. I guess it could be this one too. Leaves or pumpkins? Well, we already have pumpkins, so maybe we switch it up and do leaves. And I'm just gonna trim off. I don't know how straight that was, but okay. There we go. That fits now. I'm just gonna do some inking around it. Help cover up any of my cutting struggles. Help it blend a little bit too. All right, and we can just park that there, and it'll be just a little pocket to hold some smaller pieces. We can, you know, put a little top, you know, a little cluster or something like that over this bit as well in the future. I am going to trim a little off the top of this one, so it'll fit better. And then I'm just going to glue on the top and the bottom, and this will be a little horizontal or a little vertical belly band. Okay. What did I just say I was going to do? What did I say again? All right. Little on the top, little on the bottom. This little barn is really cute. Okay, something like that, right? Yeah. All right, and I'm just gonna hold and press until our glue gets a little tacky. Okay, and then I'm not gonna cut a dip into it because we can see that it's a pocket. So I'm just gonna glue on my 3 sides here. Very cool. Alrighty. Oh, that moved aggressively. Move it back. Go back to where I had you, please. Thank you. All right. Yep. Again, just pressing. Okay. All right, I think we did it. I am gonna make a topper. Well, something. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if it will be called a topper, but I'm gonna do something, I think, over here. Let's see. Do I wanna use one of my verticals? And we could just make it another storage place, or I have this bit left over from the other project, and we can just glue it down. Or do we make it a little pocket? I feel like there are a lot of pockets already in this project, and so I'm not against just trimming a little off the bottom, a little off the top, and then centering it and mounting it on. And I think that's just what I'm gonna do. We're gonna trim straight, kinda. I think we need to trim. Okay, something like that. And then I'm gonna ink around. And this is just copy paper, so it is very lightweight. Part of me is like, oh, I could totally make another storage piece, but you know, we've got a lot already happening, so I don't know. I can always change my mind though. You can add a little scrap strip or something to it. But I'm not decided yet. Part of me is like, what can we make a little pocket down here? Make something like this and put some Velcro, and that's how it'll close. I do this and this. Nah, that's too much. You know what I'm thinking? You're gonna see the back of this, so maybe we mount some of this on the back so that you don't see that when you lift it up. I'm like, that could be our little closure for this, and I can just get some Velcro. Do we want the pumpkins? Do we want something else? Don't have a lot of options. I think the pumpkins are appropriate. Let's do that. In fact, I'm actually gonna bust out a little red one. Yeah, I'm mixing them a little bit, which I don't love, but it'll be okay. Okay. Yep, and I think I am going to mount, make sure I do it on the right side, the correct side, the appropriate sides. I'm just gonna mount this on that. Okay. Letting things dry is always ideal, but we're not gonna do that. So I'm just gonna glue it down here. And see if I can grab my lovely little Velcro dots. Okay. I have white ones too, but I think the black ones will look better with this project. So I'm just gonna glue this. As you can see, I'm using my 3-in-1 glue. I do back my ephemera on paper bag, so it is a little hefty, and other glues don't always work the best with that. All right, I'm gonna have to hold this up a little bit so I can see, so I can get it in the center. You could always like use a ruler and stuff. You can always use a ruler if you need to. It's okay. Okay, move it down a little. I think maybe a little bit more. Okay, oops. Trying to keep it straight, but you know, it's the whole thing. Okay, I'm just gonna keep applying some pressure onto that. All right, you can see a little bit of white there. All right, so when you open it, you see that. This feels a little crooked. Some's crooked, so it could just be this line, and I think it is that line. It's just a little crooked because a human made this. Okay, there we go. So they are sticky on the back, but I don't trust. I have trust issues, so I'm just gonna put some glue on the back as well. And I get one of the opposing dots and put it here. Yeah, this is pretty sticky, but again, you know, it probably will be okay because this is paper. If it was fabric, definitely would apply some glue to it. Okay, I think I'm gonna slide it down just a little bit if I can, if it'll let me. Kind of, sort of resisting. Okay. All right, and I don't want to touch this until the glue is dry. So I'm actually going to end the video here. And when I do the full flip through of this project, you will see the ephemera and all that kind of stuff as well inside of it. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time, your beautiful energy, and I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming video. Be well.